You are sitting on your couch. You're mindlessly scrolling on your phone. And then, thump. Your dog walks up, sits beside you, and places one heavy front paw right on your arm. They don't bark, they don't whine, they just leave it there. It is one of the most common, intimate, and honestly confusing things our dogs do. And for a long time, we just assumed we knew what it meant. We tell ourselves they're petting us back, or they're apologizing. Or, if you watched a lot of TV in the early 2000s, you might even worry they are trying to assert dominance over you. But when you actually look at the data, when researchers track canine behavior and heart rates over thousands of hours, you find a completely different story. In this video, we are looking at the hidden architecture of the paw rest, because they aren't just asking for attention. As we'll see, that paw contact often acts as a biological tether, a way to create a literal physiological sync between their nervous system and yours. But before we get to that heartbeat sync, we have to clear something up. We have to strip away what this behavior isn't. For decades, aggressive training culture sold us a very specific narrative. The story was, if your dog puts a paw on you, they are claiming you. They are asserting their alpha status. It looks like an assertion of rank. But here's the problem. Modern ethology overwhelmingly indicates this whole theory is built on a mistake. The original alpha theory, it came from observing captive, completely unrelated wolves forced into artificial zoo enclosures. But in the wild, wolf packs are actually cooperative family units. Wildlife biologists have completely dismantled this dominance myth. They've shown that dogs do not typically use gentle physical contact to establish rank. Punishing a dog for pawing you doesn't teach them who is boss. It just fractures your bond. Okay, but what about the apology? You know the look. A dog slowly approaches, lowers their head, and hovers a paw on your knee, right after destroying your favorite pillow. We immediately think they feel guilty. But look at what veterinary behaviorists studying displacement behaviors have actually found. The dog isn't apologizing. They are using an evolutionary appeasement signal. Dogs are exquisite readers of your face and your voice. When they sense your frustration, they use a slow paw lift, lip licking, and averted eyes to de-escalate the conflict. They aren't issuing a moral apology for chewing the pillow. They are waving a biological white flag to say, I see you are upset. Please don't be mad. So, if it isn't dominance and it isn't guilt, what is it? From the outside, a paw rest seems like this random, simple plea for attention. But the evidence suggests something much more specific. In 2018, researchers analyzed hundreds of hours of home video of dogs interacting naturally with their owners. And they discovered something amazing. Dogs possess a highly specific repertoire of 19 nonverbal referential gestures. It's a literal library of communication. And officially cataloged right inside that library, the paw rest and the paw hover. Your dog uses that paw intentionally to direct your attention to a third object. They will often pair it with gaze alternation, meaning they look at you, look at an empty water bowl, and then look back at you. That paw is a pointing gesture. They are saying, scratch me, or open that door. And from an evolutionary standpoint, this is wild. In comparative cognition studies, researchers put dogs and hand-reared wolves in a room with a puzzle box they couldn't open. The wolves, they relentlessly tried to solve it themselves. But the domestic dogs, the moment they failed, they stopped. They turned to the human, and they used visual and tactile gestures to ask for help. Over 30,000 years of domestication, dogs became unusually likely to recruit humans when a problem becomes unsolvable. They learned to use you and their paws as the ultimate tool. But here's the thing. A paw rest isn't always a request to open a door. Often, it happens when you're both perfectly settled on the couch. In these quiet moments, the visible behavior is just the surface. To understand what's really happening, we have to go deeper, underneath the skin. When given the option, behavioral choice studies show that dogs vastly prefer physical petting over vocal praise. You can tell your dog they are a good boy all day long, but their biology craves physical pressure. Why? Because mammals have these specialized, unmyelinated nerve fibers in their skin, and these fibers are exclusively tuned to process slow, gentle, low-force stimuli, exactly the pressure of a resting paw. When your dog rests a paw on your arm, this gentle pressure may engage effective touch pathways linked directly to social comfort and reward. And this is where it gets really interesting, because this physical touch is an ignition key. Landmark studies measuring hormonal changes in dogs and humans show that sustained tactile contact and mutual gaze trigger a massive release of oxytocin in both species. Oxytocin, the neuropeptide central to bonding and trust. When your dog puts a paw on you, they aren't petting you back in a human sense. They are using touch to trigger an affiliative chemical feedback loop. They initiate contact. Your oxytocin spikes. You pet them. Their oxytocin spikes. The paw rest helps initiate the exact physical contact that reinforces this biological bond. Now, I want to show you the deepest, most invisible layer of this behavior. Because beyond communication and beyond hormones lies the nervous system itself. When the world is overwhelming, dogs experience spikes in stress, just like we do. But unlike us, they have a specialized strategy to calm down. Research shows that the mere presence of an owner, acting as a safe haven, significantly blunts a dog's cardiovascular stress response during a threat. But it goes deeper than just being in the same room. A breakthrough 2024 psychophysiology study tracked the electrocardiogram data of human-dog dyads. They were measuring heart rate variability. It's the ultimate proxy for whether a nervous system is stressed or relaxed. And the researchers found that during calm, tactile interactions, the physiological states of the dog and the owner actually adapt to each other. In plain English, their heart rhythms synchronize. This is the most revealing truth of the paw rest. When your dog is feeling uncertain, or even just settling down for the night, they place their paw on your skin. By seeking contact, they participate in calming co-regulation with you. They are essentially borrowing your regulatory capacity. If your heart rate is calm, their heart rate adapts and aligns with it. The paw becomes a physical bridge that helps share a relaxed state. Understanding this gives us a beautiful new lens through which to view our dogs. But it also gives us a vital clinical tool to recognize when something is wrong. Because the quiet part isn't always the calm part, and we have to know the difference between healthy co-regulation and a medical warning sign. Healthy affiliative pawing happens with loose body muscles, soft eyes, and a willingness to settle down once you respond. It's a closed loop. But if the pawing becomes frantic, rigid, and repetitive, especially if it is paired with pinned ears, panting, or wide eyes, it shifts. It goes from communication to distress. Veterinary behaviorists note that an inability to stop pawing can be an indicator of underlying anxiety or pain. In extreme cases, repetitive robotic pawing can be a manifestation of canine compulsive disorder. Furthermore, if an older dog suddenly starts aggressively pawing at you, it may be an indicator of cognitive dysfunction or osteoarthritis. They aren't trying to annoy you, they are desperately trying to use their referential gestures to say, "I am in physical pain." Your dog doesn't have language. Behavior is their only way to tell you something is wrong. In these moments, blanket internet advice to just ignore demanding behavior is deeply flawed. When the pawing is frantic, your dog is trapped in a nervous system spike. They need veterinary support, not the cold shoulder. So, the next time you're sitting on the couch and you feel that sudden, heavy weight of a paw rest on your arm, pause for a second before you brush it away. You aren't being dominated. You aren't being manipulated. You are experiencing a 30,000-year-old evolutionary adaptation. Your dog is using a repertoire of 19 specific gestures to speak to you. Their touch is activating specialized nerve fibers in your skin, kicking off an oxytocin loop in your brain. And most importantly, that paw is acting as a biological tether, helping sync their nervous system to yours so they can find safety in an overwhelming world. It looks like a simple touch, but what they're really doing is borrowing your peace. If this changed how you see your dog, hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed. And if you've ever wondered what it actually means when your dog follows you into the bathroom and refuses to leave, that's the next video. And the science behind it is just as fascinating. See you there.